Last year, we saw the release of the first part of the Wicked franchise with the aptly named Wicked. I didn't expect to really care that much about the movie, to tell you the truth. My exposure to the world of Oz prior to that had been almost exclusively through watching The Wizard of Oz on repeat as a kid. I mean, I've also seen Oz the Great and Powerful, but that film wasn't really all that good, so let's not waste time on it now. I do enjoy musicals, but I don't know what it was, but I just wasn't expecting this movie to be something that gripped me at all. How wrong I was, though, because when I went to see it last year, loved it. I thought it was so damn good, and I was obsessed with the soundtrack. I'd only ever heard Defying Gravity from the early days of Glee, so I was coming into it fresh as a daisy. Yeah, it really just was incredible, wasn't it? On top of that, it did really well for itself. It got good reviews, did well at the box office, fans enjoyed it, whilst also promising a sequel which adapts the second half of the story from what I understand. Thankfully, unlike a lot of franchise films these days, they're not making us wait for 2 or more years between installments. They're going back to back, which is nice and refreshing. A while ago, we got the first trailer for the movie, and now we have the final trailer before the film releases on the 21st of November. Now, in the comments of the first trailer, had a bunch of people thinking it was rather sweet that I had absolutely no clue what was going on and what was going to happen. Yes, I have no idea about the story or where things are going at all. Like I said, the best I've got is that I've watched the first film. I've successfully avoided spoilers for pretty much everything, and so we're going to try to keep that streak going with me commenting on things in the final trailer with no idea as to the context or the end game. Here we go! We start off the trailer with a shot of Glinda putting on her tiara, looking extremely similar to the classic look that you know from the OG Wizard of Oz. So what's the time skip we're dealing with here, by the way? How long has it been since the events of the first movie? Is it a couple of months, a couple of years? I mean, clearly everybody's graduated from school, so I guess it has to have been years, but how many? Pretty unclear. I'm rather keen to see more of Ariana Grande's performance, to tell you the truth. I always forget she's a really good actress. I remember going to see the first part and thinking, really? Ariana Grande? But yeah, she's great, and she and Cynthia have really good chemistry. Then we get a shot of the Emerald City, and holy hell, that is pretty. I'm really loving this take on the Emerald City. It's so alien and otherworldly, but at the same time, you can still see the elements in the buildings and designs that make you feel like it's on Earth. It feels both fantasy and sci-fi, and perfectly invokes the same feel as the classic film. Really, I think the cinematography of the films, and the design as well, is just off the charts. Wicked proves what I've thought for ages. Modern films are so set on being dark and grungy, really grey. I don't know why it's become so common. It doesn't look that good. Here though, it's bright and colourful, and it adds to the movie so much. Back to the story, we see Madame What's-Her-Face turning Glinda into a bit of a propaganda piece. The Good Witch. She trots her out in nice pink outfits with her charming and bubbly personality to keep people hopeful and content, to ensure they stay on board with the regime and they don't start to question the wizard and perhaps turn to Elphaba's side. I like this a lot. To tell you the truth, it feels very topical and relevant. We'll leave that there though. I really love how over the top the costumes are as well. It gives off some Hunger Games capital vibes where society's rotten underneath all the beauty and the splendor. Moving on, I guess Glinda can't do magic at all. I kind of thought they were going to build to her being able to do a little bit of magic, but I guess not. After all, as part of the propaganda campaign, she's being presented as a witch with actual powers, but it seems it's going to be like the wizard, smoke and mirrors. She has her own machine that's able to make a flying bubble thing. The part where she pops the bubble then creates a new one straight away. Perfection. It's so relatable. I would 100% be doing something like that for the hell of it again and again and again. I also like that they included a shot of Morrible smiling somewhat at these antics. I think it's easy to make antagonistic characters out and out assholes with no redeeming qualities or moments of levity, but I feel like it's very unrealistic. Even cruel people are able to laugh and be happy at times. They can banter and chat and gossip or whatever. Including things like this prevents the character from coming across as a sort of robotic, two-dimensional fiend. Glinda also gets given a really sparkly looking fairy wand to complete the look, and yeah, it works. The crowd goes wild. Also, this shot of Glinda in full costume in the bubble gliding down to the people with the sun behind her, just a tremendous piece of cinematography right there. We get a look at Fiyero dressed up in his soldier gear alongside Glinda, who comes out to see him. The crowd's cheering. Morrible announces her as Glinda the Good. Yeah, so complete and utter Hunger Games capital vibes, like I said. They're being set up as the propaganda true love couple. The Good Witch who's going to marry the captain of the Wizard's Guard, and they're all loyal and they're good and they're compliant. It seems they're going to have some sort of ceremony or parade to celebrate them, and of course, Elphaba's going to crash the party with some skywriting, although it seems that they've mashed up a bunch of different scenes for this, so it's not really clear what the chronology is going to be. She writes that our wizard lies in the clouds, which of course makes me remember the OG Surrender Dorothy. What are they going to do with that whole plot? Is it going to be hugely different in this version? In the OG, the witch hates Dorothy for killing her sister and stealing the slippers, so she goes out of her way to punish her. Will they have Elphaba go off the deep end after her sister dies, or what? Or is that whole subplot going to be altered to make it fit more with the character presented in this version of the story? Speaking of which, then we get into a little bit more of the drama. We get a close-up look at Elphaba, and I have to say, I'm very impressed that somehow they managed to make the whole pointed hat look actually work here. It really is something that should on the surface just look so ridiculous, but I don't know. Here it looks right. She approaches Glinda and tells her that she can wave her wand all she wants, but she has no real power. A bit more angry and aggressive than we've seen from her in both the ending of the first movie and then the previous trailer for this film. Maybe it's because in the background there is a smashed up house. Seems that Dorothy's already crash landed in Munchkin Land, and so her sister's probably dead. I'm thinking this likely leads to a bit of a fracture in the friendship, as even though we the audience can see that her sister was spoiled and selfish, obviously Elphaba loved her a lot. She probably won't appreciate that she got squished by a random house, that Glinda's helping Dorothy, potentially stole those slippers, and then also probably knows this was a planned hit. After all, don't we see Morrible summoning up the Twister in the first trailer? I swear that's in there. Then we cut over to Elphaba going over the spellbook, and that looks pretty awesome, but I was more focused on the absolute banger of a song that suddenly came out of nowhere. God damn it, this soundtrack goes so hard, even in the trailers. Who wrote it? Stephen Schwartz? You absolute king! I swear every song from the first film was just perfect. And then what we've heard from these trailers has also been excellent. Dude was writing with fire when he first composed this stuff for the musical. We see her do a couple of magical things, and it seems the flying monkeys have by this point switched loyalties to her. They were trying to attack her at the end of the first part, right? But then they also had reference to them still working for the wizard during the first trailer for this movie. I'm a little confused, but I'm guessing that they realize at some point she's fighting for animal rights as opposed to trying to oppress them for existing like the wizard does. We see them all flying with her, and once again, I find myself in awe of the visuals on display. What's the budget they're dealing with here? The first one apparently only cost $150 million, and it's the same here. How is it that I've seen films with higher budgets than this that don't look nearly as good? It's just tremendous! Then we move on to see the other side of the propaganda. Whilst they're building Glinda up to be a paragon of virtue, they're demonizing Elphaba. We see a little bit more of the scene where Elphaba confronts Glinda in Munchkin Land, where Glinda tries to justify herself, and then things, I guess, kick off. Insults will be thrown, and then they're thwacking at each other. I wonder how serious we're meant to be about this fight. Is it meant to be a little bit of a comedy scene where they're having a sword fight with a wand and a broomstick? Or is this supposed to be serious? Hopefully the former, because I would struggle to take something that looks this goofy all that seriously. Next is a shot of Elphaba walking through a dark room filled up with caged animals. I'm guessing this is going to be at the Emerald City or something, and she's here witnessing just how bad things are continuing to get. Either way, knowing that all these animals are supposed to be proper, sapient creatures that have been caged and intentionally devolved to be non-speaking, it's just so dark. It's crazy how they're able to seamlessly integrate such a horrific plot point into a story that on the surface is so bubbly and silly. It's masterful. Moving on, we see that all is not well for Glinda and Fiyero. There is trouble in paradise. He tells Glinda that he sees that she can't resist all of this. I'm guessing he's talking about the fame and the prestige of her position, putting her own gain ahead of the overall greater good for Oz. Meanwhile, when she asks who could, he tells her she knows who could, obviously referring to Elphaba. So I guess there's going to be some pretty intense love triangle shenanigans going around here, considering he was at his wedding to Glinda in the first trailer. I'm thinking the wedding has to be a crash and burn left at the altar type of deal, which in turn will probably continue to build up the drama between Glinda and Elphaba. Then again though, I do have to say, poor form from this guy to even propose in the first place, considering he's clearly been vibing with Elphaba from early on in that first movie. We then get the confirmation that yes, Morrible summoned the tornado that kills Nessarose and brings Dorothy to Oz, and that Elphaba has some sort of vision of it, probably using one of the spells from the book to see glimpses of the future. Clearly she's talking to somebody about this though, but who? It's going to be Glinda? Maybe Fiyero? Then we start to get some revelations as the famous four meet the wizard. I'm still in awe of the way they bring that giant head to life as a giant animatronic. It feels so cleverly done. Okay, so I've just realized that we've already met all four of the classic Wizard of Oz characters. Well, except for Dorothy. The little lion's going to be the one from the first movie, which honestly felt rather obvious from the get-go, but I feel that this is probably one of the things that people were chuckling about in the comments of the first trailer breakdown I did. Because whilst you don't see his face, Scarecrow's totally Fiyero, right? They have the same green jacket on, plus his hat kind of looks like a very tatty version of his soldier hat. How the hell does he get turned into a Scarecrow though? And don't these four go on to lead a lynch mob to kill Elphaba? Yikes. Are things going to escalate very badly here? They do show the wizard telling him to go out and kill her after all and bring back the broomstick. Also later they straight up show the Tin Man's face and you hear his voice. So yeah, that's Bok. He seems to have been turned into this by Elphaba, I'm guessing, because he gets a line asking what she did to him. I'm thinking that since she's not presented as being a cruel person, this is going to be a case of her trying to save him and it having unforeseen consequences, as after all, he too joins the quest to kill her. Let's jump back a bit though, because that Tin Man stuff is a bit later in the trailer. Next up, we see Glinda telling somebody that they're going too far and it's time to stop, before there's another shot of her overlooking the mob marching out. Okay, so I'm pretty sure she's telling the wizard that he went too far in what he's doing in trying to kill Elphaba. This will be the final thing that I think firmly turns her against the wizard, as then she goes to warn Elphaba. We have yet another cute little scene that showcases their tremendous chemistry, where Glinda has to accept that the world views Elphaba as a monster. We have some more epic visuals, some more epic music, and god damn, this is turning into my most anticipated movie of the year very rapidly. To be honest, the latter half of this year is stacked in terms of big name films coming out. I'm so excited. We then cut to Elphaba and Glinda in the Emerald City, which I think carries over from that scene from the first trailer where she appears on Glinda's balcony. I would expect that this would be happening very early on in the film before much of the drama happens. I think in turn, this will lead to a confrontation with the wizard as we see in the next scene. I reckon it all probably goes badly and she has to escape the city, hence this scene of her flying away being followed by the soldiers and then by the flying monkeys. I guess she manages to get the monkeys on side after this, and this in turn is going to lead to Fiyero finding her in the woods and perhaps they talk. Who knows, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I don't know anything. We see Glinda grabbing a pair of black boots. Are they Elphaba's? Is Glinda going to wear them? If so, that's sweet. We see the awkward wedding, which is for sure going to end in tears, or rather instead end with an animal stampede, which is going to be blamed on Elphaba. Realistically, they are probably right to blame her too. Are these going to be the animals that she found caged up earlier on? We see her beating up soldiers, her almost kissing Fiyero in a very romantic scene. Kind of awkward. Hope he broke up with Glinda before this. We see Tin Man, like I mentioned before, and then the Cowardly Lion looking so adorable. We see Nethros flying around with the ruby slippers, which I assume Elphaba gives her. Elphaba stroking the Scarecrow's face, and yeah, close up, it's clearly the same jacket, and no chance she's going to stroke anybody else's face, so it's him. There you go. I will admit, I am probably the last person to figure this out. We have a dance party in the Emerald City for some reason with the wizard. What is this? Is this the last attempt to convince him to change or something? Then the last scene of notice Fiyero holding somebody at gunpoint and tossing Elphaba her broom. Yeah, I'm thinking this is how he ends up being a scarecrow. He's going to get cursed by Morrible or something and get stuck in a field. Damn it, this trailer's good. This movie's going to be amazing. I can feel it. Hell yes. I'm running on pure vibes, hype, and hope. I'll be there opening night, baby. Let's go. $1 billion gross. We can do it. No notes, just perfection. With all that being said, though, these have been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the Wicked for Good trailer? Did you like it? Hate it? Are you hyped for the film? Maybe not. I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.